Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to Baylor?
I grew up coming to Baylor as a kid because both of my parents went to Baylor. Both my parents are Baylor grads. My dad's originally from Waco, so I came up to Baylor homecoming a lot when I was a kid, and it was just always a school that I had in the back of my mind when I was thinking about going to schools. And I applied to some other universities and looked at other schools and decided that I wanted to come here as an undergrad. It was the right size, it was the right feel, and I loved being here so much. And so when I went off to graduate school, I always had the idea that, man, I would love to come back and teach at Baylor. But I know that in academia, you don't always get to choose where you go. You kind of have to go where the job is. Mm-hmm. And so I'd sort of put it out of my mind that that was actually going to happen. I was always like, that would be great if it worked out. And then as it turned out, the year that I was doing my dissertation, a job opening for a tenure track professor came up in what was then the Department of Telecommunication, that then turned into the Department of Film and Digital Media. And it was exactly the stuff that I do. It was film history, it was film theory and criticism in a department that's primarily production and technology oriented. So it's just sort of a perfect fit. And I applied for it, and lo and behold, they gave it to me. And I've been here for 20 years now.
What inspired you to pursue a career in film and media?
I always loved movies. And I was always like the guy who took them more seriously than everybody else, especially when I was in college. I was an English major originally in college. My original goal is I was going to be the next great American novelist. But I loved movies. I loved reading about movies. And, I found myself at the cafeteria table with all my fraternity brothers, and they were going on about, the latest Adam Sandler comedy. And I was ruminating on some Ingmar Bergman film. And, I just figured I need to find some other people to talk to about it. But I always want to be a writer. And so that's why I actually pursued a master's degree here at Baylor in journalism, because I thought I want to have a job writing, and that's a good sort of natural outgrowth from an English professional writing major. But then through my whole master's degree, I kept writing about film. I kept taking all these journalism classes and producing research papers on film. And that was really kind of, I think, then the light bulb when I was like, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I love watching films. I love studying them. I love thinking about them. I love reading about them. I love writing about them. So how can I do that and make a living? And that was kind of how I came to that. So then I ended up applying to PhD programs in film and media studies. Further connection with the journalism department here is that really my real start in writing was writing movie reviews for the Lariat. In late 1995, I had taken a class with Greg Garrett over in the English department on it was called Film is Art. And it was a real eye-opening thing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to keep doing this. And I noticed that nobody was writing movie reviews for the Lariat. And so I went to the editor. At the time I was working for the Roundup. Mm-hmm. And so I knew the media advisor, and I said, hey, can I just freelance write movie reviews? And they were like, sure, nobody else is doing it. So that's really where I got started. And what was a real thrill was writing movie reviews and seeing them published, people reading them and talking to me about them and things like that.
What excites you most about working with Baylor students? With all these talent students?
I've been a Baylor student, and I've been working with them for 20 years. And I've generally found that Baylor students are incredibly open. They love learning. They love talking about different ideas. They'll come in, they'll have strong opinions, and that's great. And that's what they should, but they're always willing to think things through from another perspective. And that's the dynamic I love in the classroom. Mm-hmm. I love just sitting down and having a topic that we're talking about and just diving into it. And not necessarily having an agenda or an endpoint that we know we're going to get to, but rather just how can we think about this? What challenges us about this? How can we rethink it?
As interim chair of the department, what are some goals or priorities you have for this academic year?
Well, coming in as interim chair, my main job is just to keep the department moving forward. And there are so many great faculty members in this department, and there's been great leadership in the past, and it's doing amazing things. So honestly, I see my job as just helping the faculty do what they do and trying to stay out of the way.
What advice would you give to students pursuing careers in journalism, PR, or digital media?
I would say for students who want to get into the media industry, the classroom is great and you should be in the classroom, but you need to be out in the field as well. internships, jobs, experience. Get out there, take advantage. The program, allows for internship hours. You can get credit for it. Get out and do the thing that you want to do. Learn about it in the classroom, but find ways to do it as well. It will help you immensely when you're looking for a job, and it will also prepare you more because you're not just going straight into it, never having done it, but you have that experience to say, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've worked with this, I have some experience. So you're already one step ahead.
Is there a fun fact about yourself that maybe most students don't know about you? Maybe you want to tell them?
Well, when I was saying that, my roots with Baylor run deep, they actually run a lot deeper than just my parents going here. My dad's family actually moved to Waco in the 1890s. My great grandfather, because he wanted his daughters to go to Baylor, which at the time was not a common thing, and he wanted his sons to go to A&M, which is what happened. So they actually moved here and they built a house in 1904 that's still standing on Kendrick Lane.
Wow.
If you've ever been over in that area next to Kendrick Elementary and Kendrick Baptist Church. And my grand aunts used to ride their horses from there to Baylor campus, because at that time it was basically would be like Valley Mills to campus across where I-35 is now. And so my grand aunts used to ride their horses to Baylor. So that's how long and deep my roots to this university go.
That's over a century.
Yeah.
We're in the third week of the semester.
We are.
Anything that you want to tell the students that they're maybe going already for complication, not sleeping and everything studying? Something you want to tell them?
One of the things I emphasize, because I used to actually teach the new student experience course for film and digital media. And one of the things I was always telling those freshmen is make use of the resources on campus. One of the things Baylor does so incredibly well is they build in so many resources for students, things like the writing center, the career resources center, there's so many offices and people who are here, because sometimes I think college students, especially when they're first and they're having a hard class, they sort of feel like we're trying to defeat them. But no, we want you to succeed. We want our students to be wildly successful. We want everybody to make A's. We want them all go get great jobs. And we want to enable that. And I think the university does a fantastic job of putting together all kinds of resources that students can utilize. So if you're struggling in an area, there is a resource out there for you. You just need to ask the question to find it.